Imagine waking up one day convinced that this current moment is the first time you've ever been conscious. Your first time seeing sunlight, your first time talking to other people, your first time hearing music. Now imagine if this happened again, every 20 seconds. Once again, you were experiencing your first ever conscious moment, and 20 seconds after that, and 20 seconds after that, and so on. As outlandish as this sounds, this is the tragic reality for a man named Clive Waring.
You're the first human beings I've seen, three of you. 2 men and 1 lady, the first piece of people I've seen since I've been ill. No difference in day and night, no thoughts at all, no dreams. Day and night, the same, blank. Precisely like death.
He has a rare, debilitating, and incurable brain condition in which he is unable to create new memories. It's called anterograde amnesia, and Clive has one of the worst cases ever. Every 5 to 30 seconds, his memory is wiped, and his conscious experience reset. It's horrifying to even imagine what a condition like this would truly feel like. To be trapped in the present, unable to retain anything. Clive has been living like this for over 40 years now. He's been known to emphatically write in his diary about waking up for the very first time. He treats each entry like a monumental moment, which to him, it is, his first time ever being conscious. A minute later, confused, he'll start a new entry. This is my first time truly being awake. Another minute passes, and the cycle continues. Today, Clive lives in an assisted living facility under constant supervision. Here, he's able to live as comfortable a life as possible. As awful as Clive's condition is, strangely, even miraculously, not all of him is gone. His story is truly unique, and it challenges the way we think about memory, consciousness, and what makes someone who they are. To understand why this is, let's first go back to the moment that changed his life forever. Prior to his condition, Clive was an acclaimed musical composer and conductor out of London. It was through his music career he met his wife Deborah. She was a choir singer. Clive married Deborah in 1983, and just 2 years later, he contracted a virus that would turn their world upside down. One fateful day in March of 1985, Clive returned home from work with a fever. In the following days, his fever began to grow, and he developed severe headaches. He became confused and forgetful. Several doctors had seen Clive during this time. Nevertheless, his condition worsened. One day, Deborah came home to find that her husband had gone missing. Hours later, she received a call from local police that they had found Clive. He left that morning and had forgotten how to get home. About a week after Clive first became ill, he went unresponsive and he was rushed to the hospital. Through extensive testing, it was determined that Clive's brain was under attack. Clive had contracted HSV, or herpes simplex virus, the common cold sore virus. It infected his brain. These kinds of cases are extremely rare, but if the herpes virus manages to cross the blood-brain barrier, the results can be devastating. Miraculously, the doctors were able to save Clive's life, but by the time he came to, the damage had been done.
But now, consciously for the first time, I actually see things for the first bloody time since I've been ill.
Yes.
I have not seen anything, not heard anything, not tasted anything, not smelt anything. In no sense have I been conscious. I thought I was dead.
But there you were conscious.
Yes, I know. Not conscious to me. Not conscious to me.
You were conscious.
I know nothing about it at all.
He could no longer form new memories, trapped in the present moment. Awakened to this strange new reality, Clive became quite erratic. By many accounts, he cried a lot. One day, his wife Deborah had asked him why he was crying. He didn't want to say, so she had him write it down. He wrote down, "I'm completely incapable of thinking." As time passed, Clive began to cry less and have less outbursts. It's as if in some strange way he has accepted his condition. Just when it seemed like Clive had lost everything, something very strange happened. One day, Clive sat down at a piano and just started playing. In a wild turn of events, it was discovered that Clive retained his musical ability, but that's not all. He also retained his love for his wife. It's these two aspects that make Clive's case a truly strange one. To understand what's going on here, we need to take a look at Clive's brain. But hold on, let me just preface this by saying, the brain and memory are extremely complex, so this is just a very condensed, dumb YouTube version of what's actually going on, so just want to put that out there. With that out of the way, let's look at the difference between short-term and long-term memory. Think of your short-term memory like this circle. It has a pretty limited capacity and only can hold information for about 5 to 30 seconds. In order for you to hold on to any of this information for longer periods of time, it needs to be encoded and transferred into your long-term memory. Think of that like this circle. Unlike your short-term memory, your long-term memory can hold a ton of information for a very long time. This isn't even really an accurate depiction of the size difference. Some researchers argue that your long-term memory is practically unlimited. There's a very specific area in your brain responsible for transferring short-term memories to long-term memory. It's called the hippocampus. You have two of them, and they're located right about here. During Clive's bout with the herpes simplex virus, both of his hippocampi were severely damaged. With that, his brain lost the ability to form new long-term memories. He's stuck here, endlessly trapped in his short-term memory. But clearly that's not the whole story. Why is it that certain parts of Clive remain? Well, remember, I said memory is very complex. You see, there are conscious forms of long-term memory. Think of when you remember a fact or an event in your life. However, we also have unconscious long-term memory. You might call it muscle memory. It's how to perform a task, things like tying your shoes, typing on a computer, or playing piano. The parts of Clive's brain responsible for holding muscle memory were largely unaffected by the virus. In other words, although he may never remember playing the piano before, and even if it's his first time hearing music in the first place, Clive can play. But this is not the most remarkable aspect of his condition. This is Clive reacting to seeing his wife. He acts like this every time he sees her. How is this the case? Well, interestingly, Clive can't even picture what Deborah looks like in his mind. He can't recall any personal memories, but he still knows who she is. He knows how she feels to him. He can actually remember these kinds of things because of another important distinction in the forms of memory. You see, of our conscious long-term memories, they can be put into two groups, episodic and semantic. If Clive wanted to picture his wedding day, that would be part of his episodic memory. Episodic memory is recalling your own lived experiences, picturing them in your head. Unfortunately, Clive cannot do this. And yet, if you were to ask him, he would know that he had a wedding day. That's because he still has his semantic memory, which is the memory of facts, concepts, and knowledge. So he can't recall his past experiences, but he still has knowledge of things, if that makes sense. I know, it's very complicated. Bottom line, even though he can't remember the past that he shared with Deborah, he is to this day well aware of how she makes him feel. Deborah visits Clive at least once a month, and this is how he reacts every single time. Clive's story is truly tragic, but it has something to teach us about the miracle of the human brain and memory and what it means to be a person in the first place.
If you could do anything now, if you had free choice, what would you do next?
I would gin and tonic, I think. With a cigarette. And then, of course, waiting for time to elude and disappear, and her arrival.